Amazon just accidentally proved that a $15 minimum wage actually works everywhere in America. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I told you I was going to tell you about in the second hour, and let me just jump right into them. First of all, the big news that I caught this morning watching the news programs on television was that the unemployment rate, that employment went up, that the economy gained a little over 100,000 jobs, and that the unemployment rate is down to 6.2%, which sounds good, right? And in fact, that's how everybody, oh my God, the economy is recovering. And Republicans are now using that as a talking point. In fact, I heard it used 3 times this morning on television, where they were asking people, well, if the economy is recovering, do we really need a $1.9 trillion stimulus? Well, first of all, it's not a stimulus, it's a rescue package, because you've got 18 million people who are currently taking unemployment benefits. You've got another 6 or 7 or 8 million people who can't get unemployment benefits anymore. They've expired on them. They live in states where it's really hard to do. But what people are saying is, well, unemployment rate's only 6.2%. I mean, that's a really good sign, isn't it? Shouldn't we just say, everything's good? Well, not so fast. This is from the Financial Times. This was one of their lead stories day before yesterday. It's by Jared Polity and Taylor Nicole Rogers. And they write, the rapid decline in the U.S. jobless rate has so far exceeded the forecasts of private sector economists. In other words, hey, it sounds like it's good news, right? But the headline figure has obscured far less encouraging trends in America's labor market and is now considered an incomplete and unreliable guide to the trajectory of the U.S. recovery. Something I didn't hear on television this morning. They go on to say, published on they're quoting Jay Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. This is a speech he gave just about 3 weeks ago. Quote, published unemployment rates during COVID have dramatically understated the deterioration in the labor market, said Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell during a speech last month, noting that a more realistic unemployment rate right now is closer to 10%. And then, so why is the unemployment rate saying 6.2% when, according to the chairman of the Fed, it should be 10%? Well, it's because people have dropped out of the labor market. And when you're dropped out of the labor market, you no longer are considered unemployed. You're not even counted. You're not counted as employed. You're not counted as unemployed. You're counted as somebody who doesn't want to work, somebody who isn't working, somebody who's a child, somebody who's a spouse, somebody who's, whatever it may be, but, somebody who's just not part of the labor market. They go on to say, since the start of the coronavirus crisis, the U.S. labor force has lost 4.3 million people, 2.5 million of them women. Chairman Powell, again, Jay Powell, the fear of the virus and the disappearance of employment opportunities is the primary cause of the exodus from the labor force. He says older workers are retiring early because they don't want to be exposed to the pandemic. Younger employees are waiting for brighter times in the hope that their skills do not erode in the meantime. So, number one, it ain't as good as everybody says. Number two, now, 3 years ago, Amazon raised their minimum wage, their starting wage, to $15 an hour. And they have places, they've got facilities in very low-wage areas. This is over in the New York Times today by Ben Castleman and Jay Tankersley. When Amazon raises its minimum wage, local companies follow suit, and they do. Amazon has embarked on an advertising blitz this winter about raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, they note. In the areas where Amazon operates, low-wage workers at other businesses have also seen significant wage growth since 2018, which is when Amazon raised their minimum wage to $15. The gains are a direct result of Amazon's corporate decision to increase starting pay to $15 an hour 3 years ago. So, question, did that cause a loss of jobs, like the Republicans tell us? If you raise the minimum wage, jobs go away? Quote, this is from today's New York Times, there is little evidence that raising the minimum wage would lead to significant job loss, even in low-cost rural areas. And then they go to this actual study, this latest study from Brandeis University and UC Berkeley. They studied Amazon, Walmart, and Target, all 3 companies that pay $15 an hour. And what they found was that wage increases by large corporate employers appear to drive up wages without driving down employment. They call this ripple effects. Well, of course, it's going to drive up wages and employment because people have more money to spend, so they're going to stimulate the local economy with their spending. They go on to say, in the 1980s, the spread of Walmart and other national retailers helped push down wages as they displaced smaller, often unionized local chains. And of course, they put out of business a lot of small family-owned businesses where, you know, if you know the people you work with, it's really tough to screw them, right? But and they go on to say, now big national retailers seem to be helping push wages up. And then they go on to note, no Republican senator supports a $15 bill, the $15 an hour bill that Amazon, the guys who are fighting unionization down in Alabama, Amazon supports a $15 an hour minimum wage. It's amazing. And here's the proof, right? 3 years, a full 3 years that we can study with 3 different companies in dozens of communities all across the country where they raised their wages from $7, $8, $9 an hour up to $15 an hour. And not only did it not cost jobs, but it caused all the other wages in the local areas to go up, which is what we used to call the union effect. You know, when 10, 20, 30% of the workforce was unionized, you had an equivalent amount of other companies that raised their wages just to compete with the unions.